Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about an action comedy thriller called Guns Akimbo from 2019. Nyx is a participant in a new and incredibly violent reality game called Schism. In it, players hunt and kill each other. She's one of the best, and no one has ever managed to beat her. And now she is chopping up another opponent into minced meat, and thousands of viewers are watching with pleasure. Miles is an ordinary guy. He works in a boring office. He helps develop primitive games. He is constantly humiliated by his evil boss. He doesn't get along well with his coworkers. Nobody notices Miles. He has a girlfriend named Nova, but she is not doing well either. When he comes home, he sits down at his laptop in just his underwear and a t-shirt and writes funny comments under videos of the same game. One of these evenings, Miles drinks a beer and goes overboard, writing another comment. For this, he is promised to be hunted down and punished. Miles gets scared and turns off his laptop. However, this does not help, and the thugs from Schism break into his house. They knock him out and take him away in an unknown direction. Miles comes to in some dark room. He is tied up. One of the Schism thugs is leaning over him. He can't see anything. Miles is knocked out again. When Miles regains consciousness in his apartment, he finds that he has guns with ammo counters bolted to his hands. He learns that he must fight Nyx. If he refuses, he will be killed. If he asks for help, he will be destroyed. The only way out is to accept the fight. The girl receives a message on her phone that she has to eliminate Miles. If she wins this game and destroys all the opponents, Richter will let her go and save her from being pursued by the police. Nyx agrees, because Miles is an easy target for her. She sneaks into the police station to find out where he lives. Sitting in his apartment, dumbfounded by the story he's gotten himself into, Miles can't even get dressed or go to the bathroom because he has guns strapped to his arms. He tries to contact his girlfriend, with whom he has a meeting in the park, but Nyx bursts in and tries to kill him. Miles explains that he is being forced to fight. He was forced to have guns strapped to his hands, and is generally a peaceful person, except for his comments on the internet. Nyx doesn't really care. She's been given a new target and will shoot him. A shootout begins, and not a single bullet hits Miles. He manages to escape down a fire escape. All this is filmed and broadcast on Richter's quadcopter. Schisma's viewers are happy. The newcomer has proved to be quite resilient, which means they are in for a killer show. Miles walks through the streets, marveling at how good the resolution of this world is. After all, he never looked away from his smartphone screen before. At an intersection, he sees two policemen. He wants to surrender to the police and asks for their help, but they mistake him for an armed drug addict and take him at gunpoint. All this is filmed by Richter's quadcopter. Miles has no choice but to run, and the audience cheers. One policeman catches up with him and shoots him with a taser. Miles falls down and fires from a muscle cramp. He hits the policeman in the shoulder. After making sure that the policeman is alive, Miles runs away. Nyx is already following him. She uses her phone to follow her victim. Miles rushes to the park, where Nova is waiting for him. He wants to ask her for help. The girl is about to leave, but Miles catches up with her and jumps into the car. Nova is shocked by her boyfriend's appearance. Miles asks her to leave because Nyx is already on the trail. He tells her that he is now participating in Schism. Nova tells him that she wants to divorce him. Miles has to show his hands, which have guns attached to them. Nova is frightened by the surprise. She grabs a pepper spray and shoots a stream into the guy's eyes. Miles falls out of the car, and the girl runs away. Miles struggles to get to the dumpster, opens the bin with clothes for the homeless, and climbs in. Richter sees all this through the camera, as do thousands of viewers. After he's laid down and regained consciousness, Miles gets out of the trash can. He takes some clothes with him and tries to put them on. He can't do it because of the guns that are bolted to him. In despair, Miles is ready to shoot himself, but then he notices a homeless man and asks him for help. The homeless man agrees. At this time, Nova is giving a statement to the police. She tells them that Miles is basically good, but he's in a terrible mess. It turns out that DeGraves and his partner have been looking for Nyx for a long time. After Nova leaves, DeGraves orders her to be monitored around the clock in case Miles contacts her. Miles has other concerns. He is hungry. He asks the homeless man for something to eat. The homeless man has an old hot dog sausage. The guy tries to pick up the sausage but then eats it and goes to his work. He suspects that he is being followed through his phone and wants to disable the tracking. At the office, he turns to his friend under the name Hadley. He scans Miles's phone and finds a virus that is used to track the guy by Nyx. At Miles's request, he installs a program on the smartphone that allows him to disable and enable tracking at will. But they are distracted by Miles's boss. The boss is again scolding him for being late. He threatens to fire him. Miles loses control of himself and pulls his hands with guns out of his pockets, pointing them at the boss. The guy shouts out everything that has been brewing over the years. It would seem that the conflict is over. Miles hides the guns, but then the boss is shot in the head. It was Nyx who came after Miles. A new shootout begins. Nyx fires round after round from the machine gun, but all the bullets miss the target. Miles takes his smartphone and runs away. He goes down to the underground garage and steals a car. Nix follows him to the car. She steals the bike and chases Miles, shooting at him with her pistols. Nix jumps onto Miles's car, breaks the windshield, and tries to kill him with the back wheel of the bike. However, she does not have time to do so. Miles crashes into an oncoming car and flies out through the windshield. After regaining consciousness, Miles escapes into an abandoned building. Nix follows him. The guy tries to explain to her again that he doesn't want to kill anyone, but Nix doesn't care. At some point, they find themselves in a hall on the first floor, and Miles shoots the girl. The bullet hits the gas cylinders and they explode. This stops Nix. Memories of the accident that killed her mother and brother flash through her mind. Taking advantage of the pause, Miles escapes. He walks down the evening street and tries to stop a car. However, no one is willing to give a ride to a guy with guns in his hands. So Miles calls his girlfriend to say goodbye. Miles is about to leave town, but his girlfriend asks him to turn himself into the police. Suddenly, Richter and the thugs appear in the apartment. They grab the girl and promise to destroy her if Miles doesn't start fighting for his life. He has to destroy Nix and then Nova will stay alive. Miles comes up with a plan. He climbs into an abandoned car junkyard and turns on the tracker on his smartphone so that Nix can track him. After that, he calls the police and escapes, leaving the phone in one of the cars. But things don't go according to plan. Two gangs show up at the dump and are ready to kill Miles. However, Nix appears with a machine gun and eliminates all the bandits. The police arrive to pick him up. They grab Miles and decide to use him as bait for Nix. Diggraves says that Nix is his daughter. He tried to cover for Schism, but Richter blew up his car with his family. Only Diggraves and Nix survived. However, something has been wrong with her ever since. The girl doesn't know who killed her family, but she's in trouble with the police. That's why she went to Schism, because Richter promised to get rid of these problems. At some point, Diggraves realizes that his partner has taken him to the wrong place. The partner shoots Diggraves in the head and pulls Miles out of the car. He shows him the video of Richter and orders him to start fighting because otherwise his girlfriend will be dead. Miles turns on the tracker on his phone. Then he finds out where his girlfriend's phone is. Miles tracks down the phone thieves. He ends up in a van. The door opens, and Richter shows a figure with a bag over his head, and then shoots him, and the car drives away. Frightened, Miles takes off the bag and sees his friend from work. Then he goes to the outskirts to an abandoned place and waits for Nix. He tries to talk to the girl and explain to her that together they are stronger and can defeat Richter. However, she doesn't care and shoots Miles in the chest. The audience is shocked, and Richter is delighted. They send the body disposal team after the guy, and a cleanup team after Nix. Miles is loaded into a plastic bag and taken to Richter's base. While the workers are talking, the bag comes to life and blows their heads off. A car with Nix in it drives into the building. It turned out that Miles had called the girl through a tracker to the scene of the police officer's murder. Nix is about to shoot Miles, but he says he knows who killed her mother. Miles tells her everything about Richter and shows her the corpse of her father. They both make a plan. The boy and the girl take the vest off Nix's father and put it on Miles. Later, they act out a scene of killing the boy so that he can be brought to Richter's lair. Nix and Miles kill all of Richter's men and find his hideout, but Richter has already escaped. He took Nova, called a helicopter, and headed for the roof. On the way, he stops to kill his partner Diggraves, a corrupt cop who works for Richter. Nova takes the opportunity to draw an arrow on the wall that says roof for Miles to find them. Miles and Nix find themselves trapped. Richter's men have wounded them badly and are now shooting at them with machine guns and pistols. Nix decides to take a bold step. She attaches explosives to her body and goes into the thick of the enemy. Then she blows herself up along with the rest of Richter's gang. Miles finds out that Richter decided to take Schism to the international level, and Miles helped him with it. Because thanks to the guy, this app has become super popular all over the world. Miles catches up with Richter and Nova on the roof. Richter says that it was thanks to him that Miles turned into a predator capable of killing. And now even Richter's murder won't change Schism's popularity. Nova escapes from the Richter hands, and Miles and Richter start a fight, because the guy's guns are out of bullets. He knocks Richter down and beats him with the handles of his pistols, and then he throws Richter off the roof. Miles, barely alive, falls to the ground. He lies bleeding to death. The frightened girl crawls away from him. She can never be with someone who is capable of such cruelty. After a while, the guns were removed from Miles's hands, and only scars reminding him of his participation in the game remained on his hands. Richter really turned him into a predator. And now Miles is hunting the rest of the organizers of Schism. He has downloaded the game's distribution data from Richter's computer, and is ready to kill anyone who thinks of forcing people to play the game. If you have watched the video so far, you should know that I am happy to have viewers like you. Thank you for watching to the end. Subscribe to the channel and follow the news. Klontsak Recapped was with you. See you soon.